Welcome back to another roundup with the Casual Athlete. Following week 2 of the World Cup, we're going to be jumping around the grounds and giving you the best player from every single game of this week. Miles, let's jump right in with Australia first. Who is your standout in this game?
Yeah, mate, Australia blew them off the park, and I think it was no secret that Cleary had a big hand in that. The bloke put up 28 points, and I think only Andrew Johns has scored more points in a Kangaroos jersey. But just to rattle off a few stats for you, he ran the ball 31 times for 4 tackle breaks, 3 line break assists, and was 12 from 15 off the boot for conversions as well. So yeah, it was pretty hard to keep him out of it, and I think Cherry Evans has certainly got a fight on his hands for that number 7 jersey.
There's no way Cherry Evans gets back in. Look, Cleary and Munster, too dangerous, too good. I'm going to go with Josh Adokar here, and I'm just going to show up this try as well here where Matt Burton chucks him a beautiful little ball for a try. Now, at this point in the game, they're up 80-0, but Adokar had a huge one with 4 tries and took its tally to 6 for the tournament as well. So I just can't go past that try tally there. And there's a couple of guys in this round of games who did score, bulk tries. Next thing I'm going to jump to here is Fiji v Italy. Keen to hear who your player of the match was for this one.
Yeah, look, aside from me getting this game absolutely wrong from the get-go and having a giant egg on my face thinking that Italy would top Fiji, I had to go with the young bloke, Sua Wong. He's been a part of the Roosters SG Ball and New South Wales Cup system for a couple of years now. They actually signed him up as a 14-year-old, so you can tell they've got pretty big raps on this kid. Managed to get his first grade into the squad this year, but didn't unfortunately take the field. But I think he will in a few years. Had 180 meters. 90 of those meters were post contact, with 3 tackle breaks, 2 offloads, and he had 21 tackles with 0 misses. So I think this is going to be a kid that we need to look out for in the future. And it's interesting that the Roosters have him locked up at this point in time. So a few people could be sniffing around.
Yeah, very exciting. And look, the World Cup's good for one thing in particular, and that's showcasing some of these talents who, maybe haven't gotten the opportunity in NRL. The guy I'm going to go for is someone we do know already, and who's been around for quite a while, but we haven't seen him in this spot before. So I'm going to go with Api Coruscant. He was named at number 6. He had 154 meters in the game, 6 tackle breaks, and a try. So he played a role, sort of the role that we need him to be playing for Fiji to be a threat in this tournament, just in terms of being a really damaging ball runner. Didn't expect him to be out at 6, but really he was sort of moving all over the park during this game. But him and Kickout in particular were big threats in this one. The other guy I'd probably give a little mention to from Italy was Jake Mason. I think he's been really good in the opening of this tournament, and badly beaten team, but I think he could hold his head up high.
Yeah, and 4 tries in 2 games for Italy as well. That's nothing to go unnoticed. So hopefully he continues that kind of form.
Absolutely. Next man up, England took on France, and this game was a lot closer than the scoreline suggests. You can see quite a few late tries for England in this one. France were in this up to their eyeballs at halftime. The guy I went for there was John Bateman. I think he showed that game-breaking ability that he's going to have to show if England are going to beat the big teams, because they've sort of had some flat track runs so far against defenses that were retreating and not necessarily throwing up too much of a fight. But when you're playing against New Zealand or Australia, Bateman's ability to offload, so 3 offloads in that game, and create for other guys, so he had 2 line break assists, a try assist, really come into play in breaking those games open. The other thing I'd mention is 44 tackles and 1 miss. So just a rock on the edge, and yeah, he's going to need to be good for England to go deep in this tournament.
Yeah, I think they're extremely thankful to have him back at this point in time. To come in and put on the display that he did was pretty awesome to see. And we're big fans of John Bateman on this channel, so we'll keep showing the highlights of him dominating out there. The guy I had to go with though was Dom Young. Again, this kid just impresses me every single time he's suiting up, whether it be for Newcastle or England. Another, you know, 250-meter plus performance, 3 tackle breaks, and he added another 2 tries to his already stellar World Cup start. So again, not much more we can add to Dom Young than we've already put out there. Lightning speed, hard to bring down, and he's going to be an absolute superstar for the future if this tournament's anything to go by.
Yeah, and scored those 2 late tries to lock things up too. So, yeah,
Mm.
he's absolutely flying in this tournament. Next game up, New Zealand v Jamaica. A bit of a lopsided one. I can't go past the stats here, and just being a fantasy nerd, I loved the 130 fantasy points for Watene Zelezniak. He had 4 tries, 3 try assists, 279 meters. Uh, just an unstoppable performance. Admittedly, against a bit of a softer opposition, but you have to sort of tip your hat to the stats, right?
Yeah, look, it was a very good performance from Watene Zelezniak. I won't go against you and say that Jamaica are, going to be the team to beat in this tournament. But yeah, he absolutely towed him up. And on the wing, we've already seen Watene Lesniak have success in his early years, and he has still got that speed, still got that tackle breaking ability. It's more about for him competing with those top teams. And um, if he can get it going, when it's going, it's fantastic. When it's not, he seems to be looking from club to club. So hopefully he sticks with this kind of form. It's not the first time that I think we would have said that to each other, but I'm looking forward to see what he can do in the World Cup. The guy that I actually went for New Zealand was you're only as good as your inside man, as far as I'm concerned. And Hiku put on a stellar performance inside him. He had over 200 meters himself. He also scored a try and set up one for Watene Zelezniak, whilst also having 3 line break assists. And I think that it can't go understated when you're playing inside. And I love Hiku so much because he does this a lot at club level for not only the Cowboys when he was playing for the Warriors and early on in his career at Manly. He just finds a way to set up his outside man, and as a center, that's what you want your centers to do. So I had to tip my hat to him for this game, but good nod to Watene Zelezniak for getting 4 tries against Jamaica there.
Yeah, Hiku's a weapon. Underrated player all year round as well. Next game up, Lebanon v Ireland. This was one of the closer games of the round. Ireland were actually favourites going into this one, which
Mm.
surprised me a little bit. So I was on a bit of that Lebanon action there. Admittedly, Lebanon came in without Adam Dewey, and because of that, I thought Mitch Moses needed to be exceptional in this game to lead Lebanon to a win. He had 2 try assists, 143 meters run, and just sort of steered the team around and put other players in good positions to sort of run on the front foot. So I gave it to Mitch Moses as the man that led Lebanon to this win, and the man who's going to need to be in top flight sort of form for them to go deeper into this tournament.
Yeah, Moses really took this game over, and it's what they needed to do coming out against a pretty impressive Irish side who, put nearly 50 points on Jamaica. I was also very intrigued to see that Lebanon weren't the favourites in this, but they certainly showed why they should have been in the first half, at least. I actually stayed up and watched this game, Longy. I loved the outside inside ball for Carraz's try. It is just some of the most silky piece of play that you'll ever see. And credit to anyone who goes and watches the highlights for that. It is an absolute perler, and you'll thoroughly enjoy yourself. But yeah, Carraz again impressed me. This kid just keeps turning up. He's an absolute weapon at the back, and is slowly starting to shape my view of him potentially moving to that fullback spot if he's going to put up a performance like he did with 168 meters, 80 post contact, which means that he is breaking through that early defense and obviously scored that try that I was talking about. But the 5 tackle busts is the thing for me that really shows why everyone is so high on this kid and why we're so high on Carraz on this channel as well.
Yeah, and he's beaten out Reece Robson for that
Mm,
spot too. Reece Robinson. So sorry, Reece Robson. Yeah, because Reece Robinson's a pretty experienced fullback too. So they obviously rate him.
mm.
He's at the right club to move into fullback. There's not a lot of free fullback slots in the league, so I hope we see it for the Dogs next year because they've got a pretty strong team on paper, but that fullback spot with Averillo,
Mm.
it just feels a bit capped. Whereas Carraz has a lot of the raw abilities to be an excellent fullback. There's going to need to be some work on some of the positioning and the ball play side of things, but I think you pick him for the upside next year.
Yeah,
Look,
it's a bit of a
next,
toss up, but
yeah,
I hope he gets in there.
oh, fingers crossed, mate. Next game up, Samoa bounced back, so beaten by nearly 60 in the first game of the tournament, won by nearly 70 in the second game, so about 130-point turnaround, which is just absurd. You felt for Greece coming into this game, their first World Cup up against a very angry, very embarrassed Samoa team who scored in the opening minute of this game.
Mm.
I don't know if you could give it to anyone other than Brian Toe in this one. So if we went stats, 371 meters, 16 tackle breaks, a try. For you, Miles, is it the 371 meters or the 16 tackle breaks that impresses you more?
I'd say neither. It's the 40. It's nearly the 144 post-contact meters that Brian Toto seems to produce every single week when you're watching him play for Penrith. When he's fit, he is borderline unstoppable. He's one of the best wingers in the comp. I think there's a little question over his finishing, but I think a couple of those questions and as well, he's not known for his ability under the high ball, but minute into the game, he showed that he can compete for the ball and came down with it and scored. So I think he put those people to shame. And admittedly, I'm one of them. So yeah, good on you, Brian. But yeah, for Greece, I have to echo your point that they just came out and had really no hope from the get-go. The what I will say is that the tone was set, and Samoa, I think, after losing that game to England, had a tremendous amount of egg on their face and a lot of critics circling. So they came out and just made sure that Greece got destroyed. Unfortunately, Greece were in their path. So
Poor Greece. Yep, look, Samoa made it happen though. Luai came in with 5 try assists in this one too, so special mention to him. Next game up, Tonga v Wales. A lot closer than many people predicted. This Wales team is playing some respectable footy. They were in the hunt in their first game too, and probably should have won that game if they were playing a little smarter. And in this one, they scored first, but weren't able to go on with it.
yeah, Tonga is interesting for me. I feel like they started a bit slow against PNG as well. And coming into this Welsh game, you'd expect them, with the amount of talent they have, to just completely blow Wales off the park. Admittedly, I would say Wales are a little bit of a worse side than PNG, but yeah,
I'd say
Tonga,
significantly,
yeah, I think
significantly lower than
for
PNG.
for Tonga to concede the first try as well, I think alarm bells would have been ringing pretty quickly that, some of these people need to get, or some of the Tongan team need to get a bit of a kick in the ass because it's it's something that they can't afford to do later in the tournament. You're coming up against sides like Australia, New Zealand, England. These teams will jump on you if you show them any sign of weakness, and Tonga have been doing that a little bit in the last couple of games. So I'm interested to see where it goes, but Daniel Tupou got them off to a good start as well for the comeback, and they definitely went on from there. But yeah, Tupou really carried them by scoring those 3 tries, and he also dominated out of kick returns as well.
Yeah, you're right about Tonga. They don't feel like a team that's switched on because we've talked a lot about the talent in this roster and what they can do, but it doesn't feel like they're playing intense footy. It doesn't feel like they're there to win. Maybe they feel like they can get through without trying too hard.
Hmm.
Maybe that's sort of the attitude that's in their team. I mean, I went with a different guy, and I was actually more encouraged by this particular performance. A guy who can be accused of not coming in too hard in games and not sort of being switched on, but showed that sort of gear switch in this one. So hopefully the rest of the team can follow Dave Fafita going forward. He had over 100 meters in about 48 minutes. He had 8 tackle breaks, and he had that try too. So that's what they're going to need from him. They're going to need him and the other explosive forwards just sort of interchanging passes, which we did see a bit more of in this game, but not to the level that they're going to need to throw it at, Australia, New Zealand, and even, teams like Samoa, PNG, England, if they come up against them too.
Yeah. Do you reckon it changes with Taumalolo coming in?
I think so. He seems to be a real leader in this team. He was our pick in the
Mm.
World 17 as well from this team, so maybe he can sort of light a firecracker up them. Maybe they'll start taking it a bit more seriously at that
Yeah.
point.
I think at this point, that suspension of Taumalolo is really hurting them because he's the heart and soul of this Tongan team. So hopefully, yeah, as you said, he comes in there. They got the win over PNG, so hopefully he should secure them a place at the top of the table for Group D. But yeah, they just need to get off to a better start.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Let's hope they can put it together in this final game of the pool rounds, just to show us that they're here to play. Because if they come out of another game looking like this and looking a little sloppy, I can't see them sort of switching gears quickly enough in
Yeah,
the finals.
could be curtains.
Yeah. Now, another team that came out of this opening game against Tonga, we've got Papua New Guinea, showed up against the Cook Islands. A really nice matchup here, and another one of those more even matchups where Cook Islands have a pretty great forward pack, and Papua New Guinea aren't typically a team to blow sides off the park, but also don't get blown off themselves usually. So they came into this game needed to win, absolute must-win game, with Cook Islands having to win their first game too. My pick for Papua New Guinea was Roderick Tai. He scored 2 tries. He had a really, really exciting individual try, which I'm just going to pop up here actually. He also had 182 meters and 6 tackle breaks in this game. But just check him out here. So cut straight into the clear and has the pace to beat Iro, who I know you love. Yeah, to the try line there. So yeah,
Just
great
gets
performance
in.
for him.
Yeah, look, PNG, they needed to come out and win this game, and that's exactly what they did. Bit of a shame that Cook Islands couldn't get it done there, but they did put up a very valiant fight. And the guy that I actually went with is the guy you mentioned there on that play. He didn't give up on it. I think if there was another 20 meters left in the field, he probably would have got him. So with Iro, I love the way that he plays the game. It's all about running hard from the back. You know, he had over 200 meters again with 6 tackle breaks. So against a side like PNG, they're very proud defensively and they pride themselves on being good in the contact. And to have 6 tackle breaks against PNG is no easy feat. So he also got a pretty well earned try at the end of the game there as well. So it was the last try of the game. But with Iro, I want to see him continue to improve and I want to see him get a regular spot in that Cronulla Sharks side. Could be a classic case of the Knights letting another good player, another good junior go.
Yeah. I mean, he's showing enough to sort of get into the conversation. So we'll see if he can crack it in NRL. He's got still another game at least in this tournament to present his case. But yeah, let's see what happens. Anyway, that winds us down for the around the grounds for week 2. They're our favorite players from each game, but let us know in the comments if there's someone that you were impressed by or someone you liked. We're going to have heaps more content coming through on the World Cup. So if there's anything you want to see, shoot us a comment or send us a message. Cheers.